Hi guys, welcome back to Delightful Events. Today's tutorial is on Minnie Mouse balloon garland. To start off, you need to gather all the balloons that you will need to use. I'm going to use two different shades of pink, the plain pink and the double stuffed pink. To double stuff my balloon, I'm just simply putting the pink balloon inside the white so I can get the shade that I want. So let's get started. I will be using this electric pump to blow my balloons, and I had to make my own balloon sizer because I'm gonna be needing to use two different sizes. I'm gonna be using 10-inch size for all the double stuffed balloons. The main reason why I decided to have two different sizes is because I wanted to come up with that organic appearance, because that's the kind of style that I prefer. When I blow my balloons, I always prefer to tap them on a hard surface so I can have a nice round shade. So because they're double stuffed, I find it a bit easier to just pull the insides and tie the knot of the balloon nets. And then I have to create my quad. So you get two balloons and two together. Just twist it 3 times just to make sure you've secured your balloons together, and then just keep going using the same process for all your double stuffed balloons. So for this style we need to have 2 sets of balloon sizes. So the double sided ones were 10-inch, but for the plain ones they're going to be 9-inch, one size down. So we are going to use our balloon sizer to repeat the same process again. So we keep blowing them, tapping them, creating our quads. With the manual pump, I'm just going to need 1, 2, 3 pumps so I can have the same size of all the small 5-inch balloons. Pull the neck out, tie it round, and then tie your balloon. Just keep going using the same process again, and just make sure you don't pump it too much. So 1, 2, 3 pumps should be enough for all the small 5-inch balloons. So I'll just repeat the same process with all of them, pulling the neck, tying it round, tapping it on the ground to maintain that consistency. So the next thing we need to do now, once we have our clusters ready, is to join everything together. So depending with what you prefer, you can either use a string to tie the clusters or balloon tape, or you can use anything that you're comfortable with. So I usually prefer to use a very thick fishing line because it just helps me hold the balloons together. So I just go around each and every balloon, and then I tie the end of the fishing line. I usually just tie it 3 times just to make sure it's all nice and secure. So for this style, we are going to start by joining one cluster of the double stuffed pink balloons with 3 clusters of plain pink balloons. So you get the next cluster, which is the plain pink, and repeat the same process. Do the figure 8 with your fishing line, and then you turn your fishing line around maybe 2 or 3 times on each balloon, just to make sure everything stays connected together. And then we do the same thing with the plain pink clusters sitting on top, and then use your fishing line. Just go around each balloon, make sure everything is nice and tidy, and you have to push the balloons as well whilst you're doing that, just to make sure there are no gaps that are shown. Here's the pattern that you want to repeat. So for every 3 clusters of plain pink balloons, make sure you add 1 cluster of the double stuffed pink, and you keep repeating the same process until you have enough balloons to cover your backdrop. When I get to the venue, I then join the balloon columns together using the loose ends of the fishing line that I left hanging. I do this just by repeating the same steps, doing the figure 8 so that all the balloons are nice and tight. To secure the balloons to the backdrop, I'm going to be using the fishing line that I left hanging at the end of the balloons. So just make sure you always leave a very long fishing line that will be enough for you to use when you're securing your balloons. So once you've secured your balloons to your backdrop, just try and find the middle point of your backdrop. So this will give you a rough estimate of where you want to hang your ears. From midpoint, skip the first two balloons and hang the inner part of your ear on the third balloon, and we'll do the same with the other ear as well. Repeat the next step with the same ear, but here is an important tip. So when you're deciding where to put the final backdrop, make sure that you take note of the ceiling height. I did underestimate the height of the ceiling, which ended up with me having very limited space. This was kind of pushing the inner side of the backdrop. So you can actually see that I ended up with a circle that was not very defined. It was kind of being pushed inside by the end part of the ear. So I did try to push my backdrop sideways, but at the same time I didn't want to block the passageway that people were going to be using. To cover the inner part of the ear, I had to blow one cluster of plain balloons, and then using my 360 balloons I had to tie and join it with the existing balloon. So I had to repeat the same step with the other ear. With one cluster, push it inside, secure it with the existing balloons using the 360. Using transfer paper, I had to transfer the removable vinyl onto the acrylic board. So I had to push it in with my hands just to make sure everything is centralized and all sticking to the backdrop. Using the 360 balloons, I had to join the 5-inch balloons so I can use them to cover any existing gaps, and it also helps to bring a more organic look to your backdrop. So just keep going round and round and see if there's anywhere that you could probably fit it in, or anywhere that you feel there's a more gap that you can close. Once you've joined your balloons, it's now time to bring in the accessories to help bring your theme. So what I did is I took cardstock and then I just traced the Minnie Mouse shape, and then I just use sellotape, or you can use builder's tape, or you can use blue tack just to join it and stick it to the plinth. I really wanted to maintain the main theme, which was pink, so I had to wrap the gold plinth using a gift wrap, and then I had to stick it to the plinth with a double-sided tape. I couldn't find the actual ball balloon, so I improvised and had to use two heart-shaped foil balloons that I had to join together with a cello tape.